Kelce and Taylor Swift found themselves overwhelmed with emotion as they arrived in Pennsylvania to bid farewell to Maureen McGuire, Ed Kelce's beloved wife, on a somber Sunday, August 3rd. Earlier that day, after an intense training session with his Kansas City Chiefs teammates, Travis, accompanied by Taylor Swift, left for Pennsylvania, their faces marked by grief as they entered the town to join the Kelce family in mourning. They had flown in quietly, not wanting to attract attention, but the sight of the two sitting together in a car, visibly distressed and supporting each other, caught the eyes of fans and local media. Maureen McGuire, who passed away earlier that week following a prolonged illness, had been a steady presence in the Kelce household for more than 30 years. Her warmth, unwavering loyalty, and quiet strength had become the glue that held the family together, especially for Ed's two sons, Jason and Travis Kelce, who, although not her biological children, saw her as a steadfast maternal figure. For decades, Maureen was the silent force behind the family's joys and struggles, always offering a forgiving heart and ready support through every twist and turn of their lives. Travis and Taylor's arrival at the funeral, both subdued and visibly heartbroken, spoke volumes about the depth of their relationship and the strength of their bond with the Kelce family. Travis, opting for simplicity in his attire, was seen looking out the window, his hand often raised to his face in an attempt to stifle his emotions, while Taylor, sitting beside him, mirrored his sorrow with teary eyes and a somber expression, unable to conceal her pain at the family's loss. Their presence at the funeral was more than a gesture of respect. It was a testament to the connection they shared with Maureen and the Kelces. Taylor had often spoken about her close-knit relationship with Ed Kelce and his wife, recounting stories of laughter, comfort, and family gatherings. And in these difficult hours, she stood by Travis not only as a partner, but as a pillar of emotional strength. Her decision to postpone a crucial recording session in New York and fly to Pennsylvania on short notice showed the seriousness with which she approached her role in Travis's life. She had become, in many ways, a part of the Kelce family herself, and her support during this period of mourning was a reflection of the deep affection and loyalty she held for them. The day was heavy with emotion. As the couple walked into the funeral home, their steps were slow, and their expressions carried the weight of sorrow and loss. The room was filled with quiet whispers and the subdued presence of friends and family, all there to remember Maureen McGuire's life and the impact she had on everyone around her. Among those gathered were Jason Kelce and his wife, Kylie, who arrived shortly after Travis and Taylor. Jason, known for his reserved nature, stood close to his father Ed, offering silent support as they both struggled to process the reality of saying goodbye. His eyes were glassy with disbelief, a mix of shock and heartbreak, while Kylie, dressed in a modest black outfit, spent much of her time by Taylor's side, the two of them exchanging comforting words and sharing silent tears amid the solemnity of the room. The Kelce family had always valued privacy, but on this day, their vulnerability was visible to all. Ed Kelce, the grieving husband, was surrounded by his sons and their partners, his face etched with sadness yet also gratitude for the support he received. Travis, who is known for his exuberant personality on the football field, could not hide his pain, remaining close to Taylor as she gently held his hand and offered reassurance. Taylor, too, was deeply affected, her empathy for the family evident in every gesture. She took time to speak with guests, share memories, and comfort those who wept for Maureen's passing. The funeral service itself was a heartfelt tribute to Maureen McGuire's memory. Friends and relatives took turns recalling her kindness, her warmth, and the special way she had of making everyone feel welcome. Stories flowed about family dinners, Christmas mornings, and quiet evenings spent together, laughter echoing in the memories and tears falling as people remembered the void left by her absence. Ed's voice trembled as he spoke about his late wife, describing her as the foundation of their lives, always present with a gentle smile and a wise word, someone who could calm storms and bring light during the darkest times. Jason and Travis paid their respects with heartfelt words, expressing gratitude for the love and guidance Maureen had provided, not just to them, but to everyone she met. The bond between the brothers was evident as they stood together, supporting their father and each other, united in grief and remembrance. Outside the funeral home, a small crowd of fans had gathered, drawn by the presence of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Although the couple tried to keep a low profile, their arrival did not go unnoticed. Supporters held signs of sympathy, some quietly singing Taylor's songs as a gesture of comfort, others simply standing in silence, sharing in the family's loss. Taylor and Travis took a moment to acknowledge them, offering brief smiles and waves before retreating inside to be with their loved ones. The day was filled with emotions that seemed to shift with every passing hour. There were moments of laughter, as people recalled Maureen's sense of humor and her knack for telling stories that brought the family together. There were also moments of profound sadness, especially when the time came to say a final goodbye. The family gathered around Maureen's coffin, each member laying a single white rose on top, their hands trembling as they whispered silent prayers and farewells. Travis, his voice barely above a whisper, leaned on Taylor for support as they watched the casket being lowered into the ground, the finality of the moment settling heavily on their shoulders. Subscribe for more heartfelt moments and exclusive updates. After the burial, the family returned to Ed Kelce's home for a private gathering. The atmosphere was somber but filled with warmth as friends and relatives shared stories, hugged, and comforted one another. Ed, though visibly exhausted, made an effort to thank everyone for their support, his gratitude evident in his words and gestures. Jason and Travis, though emotionally drained, spent time with younger family members, sharing hugs and quiet conversations, their presence a source of reassurance for those struggling to cope with the loss. Taylor, too, moved among the guests, offering gentle words and listening to memories of Maureen. She found herself drawn to the kitchen, where she joined Kylie and a few others in preparing food for the family, a small but meaningful gesture that spoke to her desire to help in any way she could. The day slowly turned to evening, and the house grew quieter as guests began to leave. The Kelce family, still reeling from the loss, found comfort in each other's company, the bonds between them strengthened by the shared experience of grief. Travis and Taylor spent much of the evening with Ed, sitting in the living room and reminiscing about happier times. They laughed through their tears as they recalled family vacations, holiday traditions, and the unique quirks that had made Maureen such a cherished member of the household. Subscribe for touching stories and behind-the-scenes moments. As the night wore on, Travis and Taylor stepped outside for a moment of quiet. Under the soft glow of the porch light, they held each other close, finding solace in the simple act of being together. Taylor rested her head on Travis's shoulder, her eyes closed as she breathed in the cool night air, while Travis wrapped his arms around her, drawing strength from her presence. In that quiet moment, the pain of loss was tempered by the comfort of love, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is light to be found in the connections we share. The days that followed were a blur of emotions for the Kelce family. There were calls and messages from friends and fans, flowers delivered to the house, and endless offers of help from well-wishers. Travis returned to his football commitments, but his mind often wandered back to those final moments with Maureen, the lessons she had taught him, and the love she had given so freely. Taylor, too, found herself reflecting on the experience, her heart heavy with empathy for the Kelce family, but also filled with admiration for their resilience. She continued to be a source of strength for Travis, standing by his side as he navigated the challenges of grief and responsibility. Together, they faced the future with a renewed sense of purpose, determined to honor Maureen's memory by living their lives with kindness, compassion, and gratitude. The story of Maureen Maguire's passing and the support shown by Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift touched the hearts of many. Fans around the world sent messages of sympathy and support, sharing their own stories of loss and the ways in which they found comfort in the love of family and friends.